minutes, but it's been a minute since I've done a garden tour and it's a really nice day. So I thought I would do a little walk around in case anybody wanted to see where the garden stands in its transition for the fall. I also have a few projects I'm going to be working on. So I don't know if we'll do them together. I might do them separately so I can film them and post them. But heads up, I don't always have the best service back here. I'm going to have to find a way to maybe get a booster so that it connects to my Wi-Fi. I tried turning on my own hotspot. I don't know if that will help. I'm not real sure how that works, but yeah. So yeah, we're in a state of transition. We right now are getting kind of cool at night, probably maybe in the 40s. We've had a few days in the high 30s. Usually that's getting closer and closer to your freeze. Our freeze is actually predicted for the end of the month. I think this year it's predicted for October 30th. A lot of times we can push that. It just depends on how our was here, but all right, nobody's hopping on here yet, but you know what? I think it'll post anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. So everything, like I said, a state of transition. So you're going to see some stuff is kind of dying off. Some looks great. My tomatoes are having a little bit of a struggle. That one is just, ugh. Get out of there. Oh, that was beautiful a couple days ago. Well, it's still hanging on there. These ones haven't really done very well right here, and I don't know why. These are two different types of spinach. This is Okinawa and Egyptian spinach, or maybe I have them backwards. I don't know. Somewhere I have a tag. But they are probably, I'm going to have to take some clippings and take some of this inside because I don't think it'll survive the winter. It's already starting to get kind of yucky. And over here, this is where I've got peppers. These are some cherry tomatoes that I planted late, so these have just been coming in now. I have had such a weird year with the tomatoes. We got hot really fast here, and when your vegetables, certain vegetables, get to a certain point, they will stop producing. And so we had one of those years where that's what happened with my tomatoes. It got to be 90, 95 degrees, and my tomatoes couldn't set flowers, they couldn't set fruit, they couldn't do any of that. So it not only did it take and tank all of my spring planting that bolted, but it also caused some issues with my tomatoes. So I'm just now getting some of these cherry tomatoes. All right, here we go. I'm going to turn it around. So these I think are bumblebee. This is a sunrise bumblebee. And then this one is the pink version, I think. And then I have a purple one somewhere as well. We'll probably go by and see it. And one of the things that I am doing is this here. These are those dollar store baskets. And so I've got some of my spring starts in here. And I didn't film these, so I probably need to do a little content on them. But these are those dollar store cages that I thought would work great, but something was still getting in there and nibbling. So I did make a little bit of a spray. And then I found these at Lidl. If you don't have Lidl, it's kind of like an Aldi. And they came 2 to a pack for like $1. Well, didn't they just clearance them? So I was able to get 2 to a pack for like 60 cents. And it fits on there great. So that's keeping all the bugs off of my plants. So anywhere you see this is probably a Brassica of some sort that I've got started in my bed for when the other stuff dies off. A lot of times I also put bush beans around all the edges just because that's a great way to add some nitrogen to your soil, and it covers the soil to protect it a little bit. So, and again, if you missed the beginning, we are in a state of transition with the fall. So, you know, some of this stuff is dying off. Some of it is yellowing. That's part of the season. So if you're new to gardening and you're starting to see this now, that's normal. Part of it is not as much daylight. Part of it is also that it's cold. These were a late plant, so I have not harvested any of these yet, but these are a Trail of Tears. These are a black bean, and I don't have any interest in eating them green yet because I still have other green beans, so I'm going to leave them on there to dry. But that's supposedly when you crack these open, they'll have black beans in there, and I want to see how many I can collect off of that. If you're new to my channel, let me back up and I'll show you the whole garden. if the sun doesn't get in your way. I'll try to cover it. So this is the little urban farm. I started in Rock Hill, South Carolina a while back during COVID. At least that's when I started going online to help people with food insecurity. And then I moved, and so I transitioned everything here, and this was how I built the beds. So I do 4x8 beds just because it's a great size. Number one, you can get to the middle of it with your arm. So you can reach 2 feet this way, 2 feet that way. Now, I could have gone ahead and probably built this all the way across and utilized that as garden space. I didn't, only because I wanted to utilize some of these cattle panel trellises. Really easy to do. I have tutorials on them. These are really inexpensive. That's why you see people do this. You can get them at like Tractor Supply. Not that I'm promoting them. I'm a little mad at them right now. But that's where they came from. I don't know anybody else that sells them. So, and they definitely have always had the cheapest price that I've ever seen on them. So, yeah, so we can just walk right through here. And it's kind of neat because when these fill in, you know, you get kind of like a tunnel effect. It's a little bit better in the late summer versus right now because we're we're at the end. But here's a nice tomato coming in. That's the first tomato I think I'll get off that plant. And that is probably the birds. They sit here and they try to get the water content out of your tomatoes. Ooh, I almost fell over here. So yeah, that's the garden space. And then I do have a couple of these raised beds back here. I just installed so I did some of my fall planting in here. And I don't know if you can see them or not. These are carrots. I haven't even gotten this video up on YouTube yet. I'm really slow at getting some of my videos up right now. I do work full time, and I'm helping with some of the efforts out where Hurricane Helene, and that there's some lettuce. Those are not coming up. You can't really see them because they're a red lettuce, but they are in there. So I do have a couple of these things here in these cloth bags. I don't do many of the cloth bags. Where I grow, it gets too hot and they dry out. However, they work really well for potatoes. So these are actually, oh no, these are not. That's a potato there coming up. That's a potato there. I think these here are still holding on. So this is an older planting of potatoes here. And these are actually, believe it or not, these are a white blackberry. I got these at Stark Brothers. So they're not going to live in here. I just don't have a place for them yet. I'm going to build out my raspberry and blackberry space. So for now they're in there. But yeah, these are a type of perennial onion. And right now, so these are called Grandpa Browns. They're for sale right now. You only find these like once a year, and they're really hard to track down once you learn about them. There's different types. This one here is a little bit of a smaller one. So I think these look like they're a little bit more of a perennial green onion. Now, I don't know because this is my first year with them. I probably should get some fertilizer on them, and that might help as well. But they've done really, really well. And I do have that linked on my website. If you go to the garden section, I tried to make sure that everything I'm growing in the garden is linked there so that you can get to whatever it is I'm showing you really fast and easy. These here, I think, are a white perennial. I got these off of eBay. I looked, and that guy has not been back on with his stuff lately. So I don't know about these yet, if you'll be able to buy those. But they did really well, and then some of them died off on me, and so they're just starting to come back. That's normal for perennial onions this time of year because it's really hot. So, you know, they don't like the heat as much. They'll grow, and then all their stuff will die off. And then as it starts to cool, they come back online. And this is leeks that I've transplanted in here. So I had a big bed in there. I don't like the really big one. It sat wonky and it drove me nuts. I tend to like this size here, which I think is a 30 gallon. That might be 50 or 100, or maybe I have that backwards. Maybe that's 50 and that's 100. I don't know. Anyway, I had put some leeks in there. I let my leeks go to seed every year, and then I kind of sprinkle them around the garden and just let them do whatever they're going to do. And so that year, this was kind of open. I didn't have potatoes in there, and so I sprinkled a bunch in there, and so you could see that growth of all those are leeks. And to transplant them, you just take them one at a time and you put them in the dirt. Leeks, I don't know if you can go too deep with leeks. Now, don't go digging a foot. But leeks actually do like to have some of their stem covered. So, you know, if you start when there's less soil and put more soil up, that's how you get more of the white part that you can actually use. And I think these are an American flag leek. But yeah, I come in here and take them one at a time, and I'll just transplant them into different places. And let's see what we got here. This one, I can't remember what this one is. This was one I had left over from some that didn't get labeled right. I think I do have some potato onions in there as well, which are another perennial onion. And all of the perennial onions that I've started to grow are listed in my garden space on my website. You probably won't find most of them, and what you'll want to do is sign up to get the alerts for when they go on sale. Like I said, the only ones I know are available right now are the Grandpa Browns. You might be able to find walking onions around. These are pretty common now. This is a white variety of walking onion that I got from Southern Exposure, or Southern, yeah, is that what it's called? Southern Exposure or Southern Exchange. And then this one here I got locally. This one is more of a red one. What they do is they get these bulbs that grow on the top, and when they get heavy, they fall over, and that's how they transplant themselves. But I started with just a handful of bulbs, and I just let them do their thing. I don't ever really dig them up unless I want some. You can actually use the bulb at the base, or you can do the greens. So they say you can also eat the bulbils. So I've never had the greatest luck with that. I think they taste a little odd. They're a little tougher than like a garlic bulb, so they don't work as good. Anyway, we'll keep on going here. These darn birds. Oh, the birds are sitting on all my cages, and they're ravaging my stuff. So green peppers, those are just now starting to, some of them are starting to turn. Those got planted a little bit later. And these here are also what are these ones? I think these are ají dulces. I grow these because I like to make sofrito. I grow culantro usually, although I'm trying to restock my culantro because I accidentally killed it. And the ají dulces are a pepper that you put with it to make sofrito. I was supposed to marry a guy that was Puerto Rican and Dominican long time ago. So I got kind of used to using sofrito in my cooking, and it's a way of like spicing your food and flavoring your food. And I can't let that go. It's such a great way to flavor like certain Latin rices and things like that. So one day I should show you guys how to do that. Anyway, more cherry tomatoes. This lovely plant here, this is something I just did a little content on recently. These are garden huckleberries. These are not like a regular huckleberry that is connected to, say, the blueberry. You know, that they have ones that are more like a blueberry. This is related to the tomato plant. And I don't know if I can show you. I think we've gotten just cold. Nope, here they are. See these little guys right here? Nasty little boogers. These are your leaf-footed bugs, and the red ones are the nymph stage. They're the adolescents. That's before they get big. They are drawn to this plant. Why that's great? They leave your tomatoes alone. And if you've ever grown tomatoes and dealt with those, you know what I'm talking about. Like they're just, and in fact, some of that might be from them, these little dots that you get. They suck the sap out. But the cool thing about this plant is they don't really bother this fruit. And I'm still learning with this one. I'm new to this one. They start kind of green. And then they get, you know, oh, here's one of our friends. And then there's your green berries. But then they start to get darker. They say when they start to turn kind of, you know, see this, the birds. I might be able to pick some of these now. I've asked online because I'm not real familiar with them. People have told me you pick them when they get dull. Y'all, I can't tell what's shiny and what's dull. They all look the same to me. Like on camera, that looks shiny, but in person, they look kind of dull to me. These are newer, but I mean, they don't look that different to me. So I'm still learning with this plant. The cool thing about it is that not only will it deter your bugs, but you can harvest the fruit, these berries, and they don't taste like much when you eat them. They're kind of weird tasting. They really do taste kind of like a tomato. You could cook them, and you put them with sugar, and they're supposed to make the most divine jelly and or pie filling. So we will be trying that, and I am going to be saving seeds from this because I'm really excited, and I've heard nothing but good things here. So this has been growing for quite some time, as you could see, and it's just loaded with the berries. These here are, I don't know if I have a label down there. They're either a cabbage or a Brussels sprout or broccoli. Anything that's covered is a Brassica. These are tomato plants that are probably on their way out. These were like a Roma, I think. They were either a Roma or a San Marzano. And they used to be a lot bigger. As your plants age and they start running out of nutrients and stuff, they get smaller and smaller and smaller. So right now they look more like a pear tomato. I was pulling much bigger ones off of here, and every so often I'll find a bigger one, but I don't. Here we go. These are a little bit bigger, so you can see. That's a little better. But yeah, these are at the end of their season, and I've enjoyed them. I always enjoy them. I grow. Oh, look at that. That's from one of them damn birds eating it, I bet. Sorry, I'm getting very distracted. I like growing those because they have less water content in them. You could throw them in the freezer and preserve them that way, or you can can them, and I tend to just like having more of a paste tomato for the canning for making tomato sauces and stuff. So, and then I've got, oh, what are you? These, I think, are a purple hull bean. It's like a black-eyed pea, but the purple, hence the purple coloring on them. And I don't even remember when I planted them. In fact, I forgot about them, and they just popped up when they got a little more sun. So these are coming in, and I can show you what those do. We'll head over here because I have some that are growing over here as well. See, look at how sad this garden is. These were marigolds. Plant marigolds with your maters. It really does help them, and I don't have a ton of issues with some of the pests. And actually, funny enough, this year the hornworms, every hornworm I got covered in those broccanoid wasps. So I have a nice healthy population of those around now, which is really, really nice. But let me stick to the goal here, which was these. If I can find one, I'll show you the dried pod. Oops, see, something's nibbling on that. You leave them on here to dry, and then I take and I grab the dried pods. I just collected some the other day, so maybe there aren't any out here. Dried ones to show you. I was going to crack one open and show you, but I don't think I can. Well, you can see some of the green ones. Well, what about this one? Hold on. Since that one's already, this isn't dried, but, come on. Since something already ate part of it. See that? Oh. There we go. That's a better one. See? Looks like a little black-eyed pea, but it's purple. So that's, I like popping those in because they protect the soil. They're one that you don't, oh, here's one. Ha-ha! I wait till they do that. Let's see. And then you can open up the pods. These ones look like they sat in here a little too long. Yeah, see, these got a little bit moldy, so I probably won't be eating these ones. But that's, if you catch them at the right time. I'm just going to drop them back in there and they can repopulate. Same with those. So that's how you save the seed for those, and that's how you save them when they're dried. But let's go back to where we were. The other thing that's in this bed that's on its way out are my green beans. These were a blue lake bean, I think. And this, again, is normal for this time of year. This was nice and lush and beautiful over the summer. It's still popping some out. So it's not gone yet, but the cold nights are definitely taking it out. And, oh, look at that one. That's a big one. Yikes. I'll just toss that in there. So I do come out and I pick them off of here just to try to keep them going as long as I possibly can. But they're probably just about done. And this guy here, this is kind of a fun plant too. This is a spilianthus or toothache plant. I tend to grow this every year too. I have dried some. I didn't know that they actually took, and I'm really glad to see that the plants did. But they have, they get like this top like that. They don't get like real petals. And if you eat this plant, hi Benny, you want to say hi? Say hi guys. This is the little urban farm pup. Where you going? Where are you going? Hi, you come and say hi to Mama? Hi, Stinky. She had a sleepover last night with her friend Jade, so she's a very happy girl today. Huh? Yes. You want to say hi to the people? Oh. Thanks. So anyway, that plant, if you were to chew up the petals or the leaves of that plant, it actually makes your mouth water. And it's, what do they call that? An expectorant. So your mouth will tingle and it'll start to like saliva. And it's actually great for making mouthwash, and it's antimicrobial and antibacterial for your mouth and stuff. So I do try to grow some of that every year, and sometimes I make mouthwash out of it. And now that I know that I have some in here, maybe we'll still be able to do that. There's some right there as well. The other bean that I'm growing, and I grow them every year, are noodle beans. So you could probably see them hanging down here. They're real long. These are a green noodle bean. And I have really, I've been growing them for several years. I've grown the red kind. I've grown the green kind. I will tell you what's funny is this year, this branch specifically, I noticed was also drawing some of the bugs. And I don't know why. No idea. They're like a cross between a green bean and, I don't know, something slightly tougher, because I feel like green beans still, they kind of keep some of that softness, where these have almost like a, trying to think what would be equivalent. They're just a little bit tougher. They're a little bit tougher. I like to can them. I find that's easiest because then, oh, see, here's a buggo right here. He's a big guy. Holy shit. What are you? You're not a leaf-footed bug, are you? If you are, you're like the grandpappy of all leaf bugs. That's a big one. Anyway, you only need a handful of these, and then you can chop them. You take a big bunch of them and you chop them, and you fill your jars so fast with just a little bit. So I really enjoy them for that reason. You pick them when they're about like that. In fact, that's almost too ripe right there, but they when they're like this, they're a little too small. You want them to be about the size of a pencil. And that's a good size. So love those. My okra, doing well, as it usually does here. They love the South Carolina heat. I've got a few different varieties. This one here is probably the Clemson Spineless, if I had to guess. I think that one is the same. This one here is a red burgundy and was getting shaded out, so it's a little bit smaller right now, but there's a red burgundy here on the end. So it's a red okra, and they're growing like crazy. So, and this white stuff, y'all, I put ashes in the garden recently, so that's why you're seeing that. But the red okra this one's kind of a fun one to grow. They grow prolifically just like any of the okras. And this guy, I don't know if you can tell. Hold on. It's huge. So I'm 5'6". If I had to guess, 8 feet, 9 feet? That's a big one. That is such a big plant. So you can see there's actually one up there. This one is the, what do they call it? Texas Star. It's a little bit shorter and fatter. It's Texas something, I think. But it's the little short fat one. That one has been great too. But look how thick this stalk is. Like, that's just, whoa. But I usually grow a couple different kinds of okra. I usually only have about 6 plants, and I plant more than that every year, but I gotta tell you, 6 plants for just me is usually enough. I just get a handful and I pop them in the fridge, or I cut them up and put them in the freezer, and they do really well. A couple new things here I've got started. So this is a purple sprouting broccoli. They're sort of all over the place right now. Gosh, those look like tomatoes. So that might be from something else. But these here are purple sprouting broccoli. As they get bigger, I might transplant them around the garden. I didn't really have much space in these gardens yet, so that's why they're not there yet. These are another type of perennial onion that I got online. These were actually, I forgot, these were recently available too. I think right now he's only got seeds of this. But this is one that he has made himself, cross-pollinated, and is a cross between the potato onion and what else did he say? It's the green potato onion, which is the bigger one. So these are supposed to give me bigger bulbs. They're not that big yet. They will be by next year though. Spring rapini. So those are doing really great. I just started some dino kale in here. That's the lacinato kale. I don't know, you probably can't see that one little guy right there, maybe right there. So there's a couple that are starting to come up in there. I got those started a little bit late. This, I sprinkled something in there. These were peppers that did not do well at all. This might need a refresh of soil. But I did sprinkle something in here. I don't know what that is though. Because of course I didn't label, and that's not the label that belongs to them. What else can I show you guys? Sorrel. That is a leafy plant that has kind of a sour flavor. I have never done anything with it, but I always grow it because I know it's edible. That's another one that I really should try growing with. This year I popped it in my bed because every year I grow it, I kill it in a pot. So yeah, I stuck it in the garden bed this year. These are all chard plants. Chard is a great plant that if you're anyone the other thing I like about it is that it's slightly heat tolerant as well. So when you can't grow spinach, because spinach is a cool weather crop, you can grow chard. And chard will usually be okay to about 85, 90 degrees. And it does just fine. In fact, some of these plants in here, that one I think finally kicked the bucket. But this one here, oop, oop, oop. That is the previous plant. I just stuck this on top of there. You can see it right there. So that's lasted all season. And my aunt has actually taken and frozen it. She said it freezes wonderfully, better than spinach. And in here we've got some red peppers. My goodness, what happened? This is a Jimmy Nardello, I think. It's a sweet pepper. So I've got some harvesting that we can do here for those. Haven't really figured out what to do with them except to eat them or put them in a salad yet though. But they've done really well. Here's some more here. They're just not turned. Here's more of those leeks I told you about. So this is somewhere that I scattered the seeds. And so at any point right now, I can come in here and start harvesting these. I probably should get some more soil on them. But you'll want to pick them at least before they start to flower, because if you have leeks that are this size in the fall, that means that by the time you get into the spring, that's going to be their second season, and it will throw them into bolting. I just leave them And you'll notice in any of my spring videos, there'll be these big bulby things around my garden. That's the leeks when they go to seed. And I just let them reseed and help them along. I sprinkle the seeds everywhere. They're great to come out in the winter if you want to do like a leek and potato soup. Oh, so good. So, so good. What else have I got? Peas are started, but I haven't seen them get very big. Here's some peas here. I think there might also be some peas in that bed there. This is my hodgepodge bed. My collards are in here. This is a different type of collard. It's brand new. These are ones that reseeded themselves. So I let them, but you can see the bugs have just massacred them. So I'm trying the whole fake butterfly bit, if you guys have heard about this. I don't know if it's working. I haven't seen anything on them. I will say, nope, lies. Look at this. Yeah, I don't think it works. Those are cocoons. So we're going to take those off. But yeah, the caterpillars love these things. If you see the white butterflies, they usually have the spots like that. These were just a cheapy thing that I bought off of Amazon, and I spray painted, and then I used a pencil to kind of draw in their stuff. I've got a couple that hang just because I thought it would look more normal, more natural. But yeah, I don't know that it's doing much. So this still may be the better way to go. Once these get bigger, that's not going to work anymore. But for now, to keep the deer, because I have a lot of deer. Look at this leek. Oh my God, that's a good one. See it? Oh, I love the leeks. I'm a big fan of like lazy gardening. And what that means is I try to keep things down like weeding. You can do that by filling your beds, but not over capacity for space. You fill them by like combining different plants. Multiculture is definitely a better way to go. Permaculture. Is that what they call it? Yeah, permaculture. But it's where you're not doing a monoculture. Monoculture is where I would take and do all tomatoes in one bed. Doesn't work as good. The plants actually do really much better together when you do things like, see, I've got a tomato, and then I've got, these are the collards. Sometimes I'll do arugula, something that's a little bit of a leafier type of thing to cover the soil. And onions I usually put around the outside because then it can act as a little bit of a pest deterrent. Generally the deer don't like it. So I often will have those, especially at these beds on the end, because if you can see behind me, I've got forest. So I don't want them coming up. I hope that that stuff helps it and says, nope, we're done. So that they don't go gathering. They still do. They go around the outside, but I'll tell you what, they have not gone after my sweet potatoes this year. Every year I battle them for my sweet potato leaves, and I always think it makes my plants struggle, and I never get a good harvest, and I always blame them. It may not be their fault. It might also be that I don't water them enough. Okay, so I just recently cleared a lot of this out of here. This was such a hot mess. I had weeds galore, and if I had some, I could show you. But for some reason, they did very poor this year, and I don't know why. So I'm hoping that these are going to reaccumulate in here so that I have a space. I also may move them. They say not to put the black raspberries in with your regular raspberries, but I'm probably going to do it anyway because I want one spot for all my berries of that type, because I want to do some trellising so that they stay contained and don't go all over the place. See how this one's going through the fence into my neighbor's yard? Like, I don't want to do that to them. That's not fair. So those are probably going to get moved. Oh, I do have a couple tomatillos coming in here. Cool. So yeah, I'll do this bed real quick. We're almost done. And then I can show you guys the chickens if you want. These are purple cayenne. These have done fantastic. I mean, that's one plant and it is just boom. It's everywhere. So those have been real happy. Let's see what's on the other side here. These, I usually do planter boxes of basil. Those are those spilianthes, again, the buzz buttons. You can see everything's going to seed now, but this was a type of basil. That's another type of basil. And I think that also is a few types of basil. Nasturtiums. I have those in a lot of the corners. They're just really pretty. It's another flower that can be a pest deterrent. These are poblano peppers. I have tons of these coming in, so I'm going to be making some vegetarian chili very, very soon. I've been hankering for it, so it's got to happen. I've got some of these in the fridge, and I mean, I just have 2 plants, and they're just going crazy. That doesn't always happen. There are some years they don't do as well, but you can see that's a good size right there. And then the tomatillos reseeded themselves. So this plant here is not looking so healthy, and I'm not sure what happened to that one. I think the droughts that we were having definitely took its toll on them. So I'm not getting as many tomatillos, but I had so many tomatillos in one bed last year. I'm okay with it. They can they can do whatever. I haven't figured out quite what to do with them. I know you can make salsa verde, but I never seem to pick them and use them in time. This bed here, this bed has been around for a couple years now. This is asparagus. This is how asparagus grows. It looks like, so you know I'm not lying. Well, if you see this, see how that kind of looks like asparagus? I want to find one that has a top that I can show you. I'm not seeing one. This one's grown out. That's what they start to do when they grow out. But these, there were a couple popping up, but they might have gone too far now. So, okay, I guess I can't show you that. But that's what those are. And then this is another type of collard, I believe. I just put them in there because I had nothing else. I do have strawberries in here. And this one popped back up, but I moved a lot of my strawberries to a tower planter. I was tired of fighting the bugs and the slugs, so I started moving those. And what happens is they get covered by these violets every year. I'm so tired of these violets. I know it's a natural plant and it's not really one that's bad for anything, but when you're gardening, trust me, they take over. I just weeded this bed maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And you can see they're already taking over again. So I don't know if they'll choke out the asparagus or not. Brenna, what are you doing? Hey, get out of there. Turkey. Herbs, a lot of my herbs are up on my deck. I do them in window boxes. They grow great that way, and here most of them are perennial. So I just kind of let them do their own thing. This one got planted in a pot, and I've just left it here. This was, I think, last year's plant, and it just keeps carrying over, so I keep letting it. And more beans, more bush beans. I told you I put them everywhere. What are you? That kind of looks like the ají dulce. Could be a pimento? I don't know. Do I have any? Oh, there's a bean. Do I have a label in here? Of course not. Of course I don't have a label. Why would I have a label? Oh, right here. See, I did. So these are a peppadew, maybe. If that's the correct label. We have to question everything. I have ADHD and I always forget to label things, or I mislabel things. It makes harvesting quite interesting, let me tell you. You think something is one thing and it ends up being another, and you're always like, oh, okay. These 2 plants are new this year. I got these from my friend Sam. She sells her own plants from her farm, and so every year I try to go to support her with peppers and tomatoes and some of the springtime veg. She gets a lot of her stuff from High Mowing Seeds. These are a red picnic pepper, and this is an orange one. Guys, these have been awesome. I have been cutting these and putting these in salads left and right. They're just, oh, they're so sweet. They're so good. I think they're just called picnic peppers. I don't know if I have these linked on my garden section on my website, but I'll make sure to do that. I am going to try to save some of the seeds because I think these are open pollinated. But these have been, I've really loved having these, and now that they've started, they produce a lot. But they're really good in salads and for snacking. So I kind of like that. What else can I show you? Oh, sweet potatoes. This is my wall of sweet potatoes. If you look down in here, believe it or not, this is actually like a plastic bin. I grow a lot of stuff in plastic bins because they get thrown out. They make great gardens. Like, I just repurpose them. So, yep. Some years that it works better than others. There's been some years I've emptied them and had barely anything in them. However, I do think our water has something to do with it here. We get droughts a lot. And I probably do need to fertilize them again. I try to fertilize them quite regularly with just a organic, something like a 444, 555, something. I stay on the low scale. Most of your organic stuff is anyway. So I can do that periodically and throw some more of that in there. But this is my rock that I'm hoping to lay this year. I want to start laying it around the gardens just because this gets kind of muddy from the watering. And the dog, she likes to dig. So I do want to take some of the stone over there. But this is where the beautyberry is. That if you've watched my videos. Oh, come to me. See those pretty purple berries? It's called a beautyberry. And this is such a cool plant. I love this plant. You can eat the berries. They're not that flavorful and they're full of seeds. But you could turn them into jelly. It's a little bit of an interesting flavor. It's really hard to describe. They're very, very light flavored, but it's kind of a floral flavor. But the cool thing about that plant is you can actually take the leaves and make bug spray out of them. And in fact, I started the video for that. I haven't posted it yet. I should put some on because I just saw a mosquito on me. So we'll have to do that. See, strawberries have been transplanted in here, and look how happy they are in here. There's some there. A few of them may not pop up because I think they got a little bit dry, but yeah. I went on vacation and came back, and my strawberries didn't get watered, so they didn't make it. So, let's see. I do have blueberries and stuff like that. I have fruit trees in the front. I'm not gonna go do that today, but I'll let you come say hi to the girls. Oh yeah. And then I have these 2 hanging planters that I planted beans in that did not take. So these are a Renee's Garden hanging pea. So I put those in there, and I'm really hoping that those grow before we get, too cold. And I'm hoping that'll be pretty hanging off of there. But my intent was to make kind of like a little hanging garden kind of deal. And I just extended their area. So they now have a secondary spot they can run. These panels fit on those, and I'm going to put them down the side because right now Brenna is running along the side, and I think it's freaking them out. I want them to feel a little bit safer than that, but... Hi, girls! Do you want to say hi? What are you turkeys doing? Huh? We got to clean your coop. That's on my list. Cleaning of the coop. Okay, well, you guys are not very exciting today. I put some sticks in here for them. Sometimes I do see them on them. And one of the other things I did this year is I put in a watering system. So because this has a roof, the water comes down. There is a grate so stuff can't get in there. But it comes down here. I don't think I posted this video. I didn't post the video because I sprang a leak in my system and couldn't fix it. And now I don't think it's leaking anymore. So this is just a 50-gallon water reservoir. It comes down. This is from the dollar store just to stop any debris or buggos. And I've got 2 cups that don't fill, but the rest of them seem to still be filling just fine. They do get very dirty. I will say that. But I don't see a lot of leaking happening anymore. That's good. So maybe I need to just put up that video. Is that good? You enjoying water? Yeah. It's good stuff, huh? Oh, it's Miss Chicky. Of course it's Miss Chicky. Miss Chicky is my camera hog. Hi. You guys want some of my pepper? Here. Oh, you just want the seeds? Well, don't take my finger. All right. You're welcome. Turkeys. So yeah, that's this is that space that they have now. Yeah, I don't know that I have anything else to really show you guys. I've had you guys on here for 45 minutes. This is kind of a long video, so I'll go ahead and cut it short. But today I'm going to go ahead and put up these panels for them. And if I have time, I'm going to try to clean their coop. Before we go into the winter, I like to make sure they're nice and clean and have fresh stuff. I just feel like it's better for them health-wise. I do it in the spring and I do it in the fall, just to keep things fresh. I think some people do it more than that. I don't. I went to a sand system, so I didn't have to do it as often, but the sand does compact. And the little bit of wood chips and stuff that are up in their house, I didn't used to have anybody up there, and then something happened before I lost one of my girls. And I had one chicken that was going up there, so it did get dirty, and I haven't cleaned it because nobody's usually in there except to lay. But yeah, it's probably about time, and they're overdue. But yeah, I know that today probably wasn't very exciting. We didn't do very much, but walk around and see stuff that's probably about half dead. But there is some new stuff planted in there, and you know, I'll do periodic updates. And yeah, come on and follow my channel. Give me a like, a subscribe. I've got lots of shorts. I do a lot of tutorials. My whole thing is teaching people how to garden so that they feel like they have access to grow their own food. Nobody should feel afraid of not having food, that you should have the means at your fingertips. So I teach that for that reason, because I want people to have what they need. So anyway, I hope I'll see you again in another video, and let's grow together. Bye.